Pick up a newspaper from February 5th, 2003, and no matter what newspaper anywhere across the nation, the front page will feature the aftermath of the disaster that befell the spaceship Columbia. On its 20th mission to outer space, the Columbia lost a piece of its exoskeleton that hit the wing of the shuttle, causing unknown damage. With no way to fix it, the astronauts took their chances with re-entry. Unfortunately, the damage was critical, and the Columbia caught fire, killing all 7 astronauts. I didn't know about the Columbia as I grew up. I traveled with my family as we spent the fall in Mexico and winter in Chile. I spent my days surrounded by attentive adults, parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles. I had a plethora of opportunities. My uncle took me kayaking on the back of his boat when I was too young to manage my own. My grandmother had me on the back of a horse before I could walk. My parents sent me to school in Chile to make sure that I learned Spanish. I was always supported in anything I wanted to do. That is, until the spring when I was 9 years old. That June, I slipped off my pony and shattered my arm. I had to have 3 surgeries, 2 casts, and a brace over the course of the year. For the first time in my life, I was told I couldn't do things. No, you can't go swimming, let alone kayak with a cast on. No, you can't ride horses, skateboards, scooters, rollerblades. No, I couldn't jump on the trampoline. I might hurt myself. Hundreds of things that before I had support and assistance to do, suddenly I couldn't do anymore. This change crushed my self-confidence, and I started to hide from life. Even after my arm fully healed, anything that was slightly challenging I now saw as impossible. I would avoid conflict at all cost. I struggled in school. The smallest assignment was overwhelming. My time that I previously would have spent playing outside, I now spent curled up in my room screening myself from everything taxing. Losing my self-confidence, something that is such a big part of who I am, made my life impossible. But with the help and encouragement of my family, I fought to regain faith in myself. There were still moments where I wanted to flee to the safety of solitude, but gradually they became fewer and fewer until they were almost unnoticeable in my daily life. I got back in a kayak, I rode my bike, I jumped on the trampoline. I even got back on a horse. Now I kayak one of the hardest rivers in Idaho, and I ride and compete at a high level on my horses. The Columbia was a major disaster in our history of space exploration. The setback made us question the value of knowledge and measure it against human life. Even though we hid from the challenges for a while, we eventually faced the world and fought for the same confidence that gave the Columbia 27 successful missions. The lesson we take away from the Columbia disaster revealed themselves in American values. We can do anything we set our minds to, and the potential reward is worth the risk. With confidence tested by fire, I face any challenge, and when I ask myself, is it worth it? The answer is yes.